right, beautiful view of the wadi, just right here on top. This is the trailhead heading off to the Ayn Arzooq 2, and we're maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks or so before Kharif. It's a little cooler. Yeah, beautiful skies, absolutely gorgeous scene. Right there, then in front of us is the trail. Just sort of drop off this ledge, ride down, aim for the trail that you can see clearly ahead of you. Ayn Arzooq 2 is the river valley on our right, and that right sort of around that bend is where we'll try and drop into the Ayn. So set your target and start moving. For those of you who are familiar with this area, you'll know that you can drive to the end, the base of Ayn Arzooq 2 and Ayn Arzooq 1 as it runs up through the valley. So we may be asking, why go through all this trouble of taking that long drive up the mountain and going through this hike? Well, if you come from the very bottom of the Ayn, you can just sort of hike up just a little bit, but it is a spring and it is a river valley, and at some point you're gonna have to either decide to stop and not go further into the canyon, or take a swim at the beginning of a hike and then possibly try to scale a few rock sides and some other areas. And so going this way is a way to bypass all of that. You can see right here we have Ayn Arzooq 1 now on our left, and this is the dry season right now, so the pools aren't even as full as they would be, and the water isn't running as it would during the Kharif season. So you can take the road, you're going to park right down here underneath, and you're going to get to a point. The first pool is the first challenge, and then the multiple pools through. So by going this way, we're able to explore an area that's a bit different, and we can bypass all the big pools, drop down behind them, and then be able to either hike deeper up into the canyon towards the base of the mountains, or come back and visit the pools from the top where the dams are to collect the water. So it's a bit more comfortable and beautiful from that end. For me, I'm just all for the exploration. So take these paths, bypass the pools, drop into the canyons, and then start moving towards the base of the mountains. During Kharif season, this area is just absolutely gorgeous, totally tucked in clouds and mist. After making it over the first little crest, see the trail right here sort of becomes unclear. If I veer off to the left, right at that little dip, just keep pushing back, and you'll see the trail cut into the rocks on the other side of the mountain. Follow those switchbacks down into that valley. Made down the switchbacks on the back side. Now we have a nice little valley here, and then up straight ahead there's another hike. I put up the Ayn Arzooq ridgeline that shows the one that continues up straight ahead, up and over these ridges, right towards the base of the mountain. For here, our target is on the right hand side, so we'll hit the bottom part of the valley and then cross over to this nice flat part. From that flat part, cut down as soon as possible into the valley that is cut. Follow that valley all the way, and it will open up right where those nice big shaded green tree area is. So down into the valley, ride the valley all the way, opens up into the Ayn. Right, so we navigated our way down through that river valley, this little side canyon, and it opens up right into where we want to be. Just a beautiful spot. And this is the dry season. So this is kind of the lowest that it's going to be. It's still moving a little bit. There's a year-round spring providing the resources. During Kharif season, it is much higher, much more water, green, butterflies everywhere, birds come down in here. You can find the gray-headed kingfisher. Those are going to be up a bit further. So yeah, so if we head down that way, you're going to get into the pools. Beautiful polished rock and just gorgeous, gorgeous area. You might actually get some shade. So that's one way. It's only, it's less than a kilometer. I mean, 800 meters, 500 meters going down, and you get into the streams and the pools and the areas. Right now, we're about just a little over 2 kilometers from where we started, which is up on top of that hill there. Today, we're gonna move deeper into the canyon, get right up down into the base there. They've just got this beautiful, gorgeous area to work through. Obviously, we've done a pretty good hike. We went downhill, yeah, about 225 meters. So whatever you do, obviously keep track of your resources and your energy. It is an uphill battle to get out of here. So enjoy it, explore it, but just be mindful of where you are physically, and of course with your water and other necessary resources to get out safely. This is the second area of the large pools. It's only about 500 or so meters from where you enter. Obviously a lot more water is going to be coming through here during the wet season. You can see the lines on the rocks as it sort of rolls over. A lot of life around these pools. They will be completely connected and flowing through here. It's a nice spot. You could sort of set up a camp, a little spotting area, and through this area. Last time I was here, I was capturing photos of kingfishers in that tree right there, and right back there on the tree, and up on that tree just on that ledge. This area right here also will be quite frequented by the birds. So, not a bird day for me, but just sort of wrap around and then keep pushing back. It's just about another 800 meters in, and sort of closes in on you. And as you can see, it becomes a lot more sort of bouldering. You gotta map your plan. You gotta be pretty careful about the choices you make going through here. This part here just becomes a lot more difficult. So depending on sort of what your plan is for your day, might think about sort of how far you want to go. Wet season, this area right here fills in nicely. So if you're not really game for getting into all of this, we're about 3.3 kilometers from the beginning, 2 miles in. Not a bad place to maybe just sort of camp out for a little bit and recover. Continuing in, to be honest, is just about figuring out how much more you want to explore. versus finding anything, you know, incredibly unique. I find just the exploration itself to be enjoyable, so I always try to push on. But again, you get out here, you're not gonna have any phone service, and it's not like you can just like call a friend. So just be mindful and be careful, and if you're going for it, go for it. Well, if you've stuck with me so far, then that's pretty good. You didn't turn it off in the first 90 seconds and think you got everything figured out. We're about 3.6 kilometers in. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. And there are just some really interesting and spectacular sights to see deeper into this canyon. You can see the cliff faces where all these rocks have tumbled down and they're just wedged in here. One of the areas that is just quite nice, a beautiful place to get some shade, and just a wonderful place to relax and cool off, is right underneath this massive boulder, just wedged in. Just this beautiful tree right here. I sort of dig in here. I mean, isn't that just spectacular? Just a beautiful place to just take it easy. Get out of the sun. It's nice and cool. Some of these areas, you have bats living deeper inside the cracks. And when we're done, we can just get right out the back. Just a beautiful spot. Work our way up through the back of it. Wow, at the 4-kilometer landmark, there's a set of 3 massive boulders that just triangulate right in the middle of the river valley. There's one right behind here you can't see, and then the other one right over there. Oh, it is just all massive amounts of boulders through here. Cool little spots, shady spots to hide into, little hideaways. Pretty cool spot. Again, 4-kilometer mark. So it's a good measure of where you are, how long you've been going. For me, it's about an hour and a half. But I've been trying to move pretty quickly. Fun area. It's a bit tricky. You gotta navigate around to see which is the best way to go to get around that big one right there, if you plan on trying to push farther back. Okay, this is the last check-in. I see sort of the big boulders. The last one, that was the 4-kilometer mark. This is only another 350 meters. It feels like 1,000. It's absolutely rough up here. It now splits. Very challenging, just crazy rocky incline up towards the base, or sort of the larger one. But I've been up in here just not that much farther, it's just walled off for massive boulders that just come down. And it just, I just don't know if it's worth the energy or the effort, the risks to try and get up any farther. So this is actually not a bad place to just enjoy the scene, take it all in. If you come here during Kharif, you'll just be amazed how spectacular it is right here. You'll just be in or above cloud all the way through here. Up above you, the humidity will just be dropping. It feels like just like rain on you. Everything will just be gorgeous. You actually take the ridgeline hike that I mentioned in the beginning of that split. It follows this ridgeline right here, and you'll be up on top of this valley right between the two Ayns, and then it wraps around. There's a nice flat plateau that looks over the whole wadi from that other side. So just in this area right here, it's quite spectacular. It's a beautiful day today, no question about it. During Kharif, it's just magnified in its beauty. So this is it. It's about an hour and 45 in. 4.35, 4.4 kilometers. Looking at an ascent of about 190 meters and a descent about 235 meters. So it's quite the challenge. All right, well that's it. The Ayn Arzooq 2 up into the valley.